This is just a new filing requirement for anyone who has a business, and it's getting a lot of traction, or just kind of being out there a lot, because anyone who currently has a registered business has to fill it out by a certain time. But moving forward, it'll just be standard practice. So I wanted to bring this up. Joseph and I were talking about, right? There's a lot of CPAs and professionals that would normally update you on these things, and they're also behind. They're just learning and finding these things out as well. So the deadline is coming up. It's at the end of the year. So we're going to kind of go over what it is and what to do with this moving forward. So BOI. BOI definition. No, let her in, please. Basically, BOI is the beneficial ownership information. So, like it says, it's a federal requirement. Basically, you have to disclose your information, like who owns the company, who controls it, the benefits from a business entity. The purpose, the Corporate Transparency Act is trying to fight, like, basically money laundering. And how companies are set up right now, you can just go in, get an EIN number, and you can register a company, and there you go, boom, you have a business. So the BOI is just that other layer of protection that they're putting in place to make sure that the business is legit. What you're saying you're doing is what you're doing, and they're kind of tracking it more on the financial side to make sure that there isn't anything illegal or money laundering going on. So, and again, tax evasion. So it's basically the point of BOI. Who needs to complete BOI? I mean, probably pretty much everyone on this call if you have any type of LLC or sole proprietorship. But it says businesses required, right? Corporations, LLCs, similar industries like S corps, any foreign entities. So if you yourself, any investors or any clients are foreign entities, but they do business in the U.S., you also have to follow this compliance as well. Exemptions, publicly traded companies, nonprofits, government entities, basically like banks. So anything like that doesn't actually have to. And that's pretty much because, right, they have other filings that they do to track all of that information. So they don't have to do this BOI because they already have their own requirements set by the government needed to be submitted. So I kind of touched on this a little bit, why BOI is important. One reason it's important is because you have to. If you don't do it, you will get in trouble by the government. It is mandatory at this point. And so, yeah, they're going to start fining you. I think it's like $500 a day past the deadline. So it is really important. And I think they can charge you up to $10,000 or something like that. And so this is a very quick thing to complete. We're actually going to go through it today. And so it's going to cost a lot of money if you don't get it done, but getting it done, it's very simple, very quick, and very easy.
Hey, Valorie.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing if I could.
Yeah.
My accountant told me, he's been talking to me about this, pretty much all his clients, but he said there will be no waivers after the 25th of January or something like that for people who did not file. He said you can't get those fees removed. He said you're going to have to pay them because you had so much time to get it done.
Exactly. Yeah. So the deadline's the end of the year. That's why we're bringing this up right now. So if anyone has any registered businesses whatsoever, you are due by the end of the year. Exactly. Yeah. So that's the deadline. And yeah, once that happens, it's mandatory, right? And so the government then can come and start filing penalties against your business. In addition to that, like I said, it's something that's moving forward. So you've had basically this whole year, if you have an established business already, to get this done. But anyone who is looking to open up a new business or start a new business, or a client that's looking to start a new business, you have 30 days from when you start that business to complete the BOI moving forward. So this is something that you will literally, every single time you do a business, you will have to register and file for every single time moving forward. But it's not an annual thing. Once you do it, it's done. So that's why we're going through it, because yes, we don't want anyone to get in trouble on these calls by the government. So, all right. So why they're saying BOI is important, right? It enhances security. So again, it's just another way for, for the government to make sure that there isn't any illegal things occurring. And like it says, there isn't any shell companies happening. It says to foster trust, right? Building credibility with customers and businesses. So they just want to make sure that, right, if you are filing your business, that what you say you're doing and who you say you are is what you're providing to your customers, and that actually is a true statement. You can watch TV, Phil. Information to submit. So like I said, it's fairly simple. It does get a little bit more complicated if you have other partners. So definitely communicate this to other partners that you have in a company. And if I'm not going to touch on any crazy complicated, businesses that anybody has. So again, if you have multiple partners in a business, definitely reach out to the professionals aligned with that, who can help walk through to make sure everyone who's supposed to be submitting is submitting. Again, I'm not a, CPA or anything like that. We're just providing this information to you. And then you could reach out to the professionals to assist you, dependent on your portfolio. So again, information to submit. So if you are a beneficial owner who owns 25% or more of a company, or has any type of control over that company, you need to submit a BOI. What you're going to be providing the government is your full name, date of birth, your address, and social security number. You do need to do all of those things, but you also submit an EIN because it's your business. And reporting timeline, here you go. So within 30 days of registration. And I did say your BOI, it isn't something that's required annually. Like once it's submitted, it's submitted. But if you do have any changes in your business during the time that you own it, you do need to make those updates in BOI. So just know that it used to be really easy to start an LLC. And if you wanted to, drop a partner or do something like that, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's still not that big of a deal, but just know that if any changes happen in ownership or type of business, you now also have to report it to BOI, within 30 days of any changes that occur within your company. So different important facts. We've kind of touched a little bit on some of these, but important facts for business owners. Again, you're going to get penalized. So just do the paperwork. Secure filing. So basically and like I said, we're going to go through this as well. So you go through FinCEN. I had never heard of the company FinCEN ever until BOI popped up, but it's the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. So, right, as business owners, we learn things all the time. But that's where you're submitting your paperwork. So again, your action steps are identifying who the beneficial owners are, you're gathering required documentation, and you're submitting your BOI promptly because you get in trouble otherwise. And then, as I touched on, if you have multiple owners or kind of a complicated portfolio, definitely seek out a professional. Everyone is kind of learning at this point, but the professionals, like you said, CPAs and accountants, they are getting additional training. So make sure you connect with, your attorney, CPA, et cetera, if you have anything complicated going on.